Are affirmations working for you? Stay tuned. This is Damon Cart from NLP Gym, the most powerful affirmation you'll ever need. If you haven't already, please click subscribe to this YouTube channel so you can get these videos on a regular basis. You may be wondering why I'm doing a video on affirmations after I have done a few videos and written a few blogs basically criticizing the use of affirmations, or basically just saying they don't really work. My stance is that just saying something over and over in front of a mirror isn't going to make you believe it if you don't already believe it. And if you already believe it, then what would be the point of standing in front of a mirror and repeating the same thing over and over again? This brings us to an interesting question. How do we go about believing something to begin with? How does that just happen? Because we have our beliefs and we don't normally consciously create a belief. It just sort of happens. What affirmations seek to do is to get you to believe something that you don't already believe. All generalizations that you make comes from grouping together experiences and categorizing them or giving them a certain meaning. And generalizations and beliefs are really the same thing. When you come to believe something, you take a group of experiences that share certain commonalities that you've identified, and you group them together and make meaning of them, a category. You give it a category, which is how you're making sense of it or making meaning of it. And then you have a generalization, or then you have a belief. So if you're just saying things over and over, these affirmations, and they're not connected to your actual experiences, then you're just repeating words over and over with nothing to grab onto, no experiences to latch onto to actually create that category, create that meaning, thus creating the generalization or belief. Another problem with affirmations is sometimes the more you tell yourself something that you don't believe, the part of you that doesn't believe it creates a stronger opposition to what you're saying. So if you're saying something that you want to believe, there's a part of you that's going to go, that ain't true. And so the more that you say that, the more you create a stronger and stronger polarity of part of you wanting to believe it and part of you denying that it's true. So you're actually creating a stronger opposition. A good example of this is, have you ever had a political argument with someone? And the more you state your case, the more that person opposes it, the more that person pushes right back. So it's you push, they push back harder. It's basically the same thing. There's always exceptions to rules. And my rule that affirmations don't work is no exception. Don't let that tie your brain up too much. Just recently, I've been learning more about affirmations and discovering some new possibilities, some new ways of looking at affirmations that might actually make them work. And it really depends on crafting the affirmation. And as I was doing this, I ran smack into an affirmation that really has changed my understanding of affirmations as a whole. And here it goes. You are enough. Or, if you're saying it about yourself or in front of a mirror, I am enough. Sounds really simple, and that's what makes it so powerful. We create affirmations and we use affirmations, we practice affirmations because we feel that we are not something that we want to be or who we want to be. So we practice these affirmations trying to convince ourselves that we are that. And by convincing ourselves that, we will start to behave that way, or we will become that person, or we will get those things that we want. And I used to create complex affirmations with all these juicy words in them, thinking, wow, this is going to be the best affirmation because it's got so much loaded into it. And actually that turned out to be the problem. Take an affirmation like, I am happy, healthy, successful, and wise. That sounds like a good affirmation. It's loaded with really good words that most people value, and it seems to cover all the bases. But here's the problem. If you don't have any direct criteria, or you haven't defined that criteria for each one of those things. What does it mean to be healthy for you? What type of health are you looking for? Mental, physical? If it's both, then how would you know that you have that health? How would you know that you even possess it? And the same thing with successful and wise. How do you really have all these things nailed down? Do you really know what they are and have a sensory experience, sense of these words? And if you don't, there's no experience for you to latch onto these words. Therefore, when you say a sentence like that, it's likely not to trigger the feeling. It's likely not to trigger the sensory sensation of what that is like to have these qualities. And you don't have, if you're not clear on the criteria, how do you know what you're really aiming at? So what happens is you're just creating these words. You're creating a sentence, and the words are pretty empty. And even if it did trigger all of those things, and say you had all the criteria laid out for those 4 values, so you know exactly what it is you were looking for, and you had sensory experiences for all 4 of them, that is a lot in one sentence to, trigger 4 different experiences in one sentence. It's just really unlikely that you will go through that process by repeating that sentence over and over, which again, just makes it a meaningless and empty sentence. What's it like to be enough? What's it like to walk into any situation and feel like you're enough? Even if it's a new situation you've never been in. What's it feel like, or what would it be like to face any challenge knowing that you're enough? Even if you don't overcome the challenge, you're still enough. You're still alive. You're still a worthy human being. What is it like at your lowest moment to still know that you're enough? I've been using this affirmation for multiple contexts, multiple challenges, and in my lowest moments, and I have them, believe me, I do, just like everybody else. In my lowest moments, I say to myself, as bad as this gets, as bad as I feel, I'm enough. Maybe I'm more than enough. Maybe I'm far more than enough. But for right now, I'm just going to start with being enough. Try that out. Ask yourself those questions. Of course, we want to be more than enough. Everybody does. We want to be overachievers. We want to, not just cross the finish line. We want to come in first place. For right now, though, just start with being enough. What's it like when you know you're enough? Does that sound too simple? Just saying, I'm enough. If it does, good. Try it on and let me know how it works for you. Check out my website, nlp-gym.com. Follow me on Facebook for real-time updates on upcoming workshops like the one we have with multimillionaire Dr. L. Michael Hall teaching Inside Out Wealth here in Santa Cruz, March 31st through April 2nd. Also, I hold free practice sessions most Saturday mornings here in Santa Cruz. If you like this video, please click like right down here and leave me a comment or a question. I will get back to you. Stay tuned to the end of this video so you can see how you can get your hands on a free NLP online training. Take care.